Good morning and welcome to Stock Talk with Andrew and Austin O'Donnell. Here we are getting you in ahead of the curve of different stories we're following and ones we have been covering and following. Today, we're going to step out a little bit. You know, I love talking about mining, but it's not everyone else is as pumped about it as me, but that's my job, is to get people more excited about it. Today, we're going to talk about the Score Gaming, Score Media. Sorry, that's the actual name of the company, Score Media. Austin's going to kind of lead us through where he got into that, why he liked it, and kind of help to teach me a little bit about that whole gaming market inside, because it's something I didn't really look at. And it's a good case kind of study to see the way he likes to view the market and how that's turned out, especially since there was really big news in regards to Penn National Gaming and the Score. So, Austin, tell us about Score Media.
So it's been an interesting story that caught my eye. I think first time I looked at it, I'm going to say was maybe August of last year. Would have been the first time this stock kind of caught my eye. And it was kind of in the lead up to understanding that the Trudeau government in Canada was going to legalize online single game sports betting. And I kind of took the path of going, all right, who's already got an established network in Canada, who has the ability to maybe take this and kind of trade off this news and this hype and build up into whenever they do actually pass the bill. Now, the bill itself didn't actually get passed until late January, early February, but a good time to start looking kind of tail end of the summer last year. And what I noticed was that the Score had a really strong platform. They are the largest sports app in Canada. So downloading on your phone, whether you use TSN or CBC Sports, or if you're using American ones like ESPN, the Score had the largest amount of downloads in Canada, and it's actually the third largest in North America. So Americans are downloading and using the app as well. So that was really encouraging, and they were openly talking about how they were looking at expanding into the online betting market if that should become available. And they were saying, look, we've got the app, we can build it right in, we can integrate it with our platform already, utilize this if this does come around. So I said, hey, these seem like a good guys to maybe tether myself to maybe put a little bit of money into and think, hey, there's potential upside here, there's a good opportunity. So I think originally the first time I bought in was around $5.80, $5.90. And there was another time before Christmas when the news was encouraging, and I think another maybe around $7.50 or something like that. I upped in again. And right before Christmas, I believe it was, stock took a pretty decent jump up to about $15. That was pretty exciting. It's because the first initial bill got introduced into the legislation in Canada.
Yep.
Passed its first reading, so there was a little bit of excitement coming off the tail end of that. Kind of leveled out, stabilized for the next month and a half or so, hanging around that, anywhere from $13 to $15 range. Then the bill passed its second reading in mid-January. We see a big jump, very nice jump, up to just over $30. Really exciting. And it was around about that time that the Score itself considered doing a 10-1 split. So taking the share price up, and at that point, we can see that there. If you go right over the middle of the chart, that big jump up to $51. It's right around when they did the split. And that was right as the bill was passing legislation. It was being approved. It was very clear Canada was going forward with this. Lots of hype. Everyone's kind of on this train of, holy crap, like this looks really awesome. This is really exciting. And then, as you can see by the chart, I spent the next 6 months really kicking myself that I hadn't taken advantage of that big win at that point, because at the time I thought, I don't think this is done. I still think there's a really exciting opportunity here. So for the last 6 months, I'm sure many people can feel my pain. Yeah. I'm sure everyone's had a stock that's gone.
But you're still up. You're still up huge, though, even though it's coming back. It's still up. It's a big win because you've got that split. But it's still it's painful. You always look back and go, oh God, why didn't I just take it? And which is what you can see with the chart, is everyone's thinking that, going, do I take some money off? Do I take some money off? Do I take some money off?
Yeah. Well, it's a good to give people an analogy or a kind of method into looking at what my portfolio might have looked like during this. Desert Mountain Energy was doing really well, and that's another position that I have, a very large position. Desert Mountain Energy doing really well about this time, and my account balance was sitting at about the same because the score was just plummeting along as Desert Mountain is starting to surge up. So that number right at the top is just staying the exact same. So, obviously then at that point, starting to think, oh God, did I miss the boat on this? Was it all really just trading off the hype? Nothing else going to come out? We get into July 13th, and there's actually some really encouraging revenue numbers.
Yes.
Very exciting for the score. And then around about that same time, Penn National Gaming, who we're going to loop into this story right now, also had some very encouraging revenue results.
Yeah, and just to jump in here for a second, because I know Q2, they announced $81.6 million for the quarter in revenue, which is really high for a small country like Canada. Like, that's really impressive. And they were able to raise $186 million in their Class A shares, Series A in the U.S. public listing as well. So influx of tons of money, massive revenue growth, looking good. Yeah.
Looking good, and at the same time, then Penn National Gaming in the U.S. has been rolling out into American markets, and they're backed by, and I'm sure they don't need an introduction. I'm sure a lot of people are aware of who Barstool Sports are, what they do, but that's Penn basically is the legal trading gambling entity of Barstool Sports. When you think about, they may technically be separate companies, but they're essentially joined right at the hip.
Okay.
And so Penn has had a really successful run with U.S. states that have been opening to gambling, easing regulations around gambling and allowing people sports betting. I think is now in 6 or 7 states, Nevada, Pennsylvania being a big one. I knew that was a big market that they broke into. I think Illinois is right on the cusp if they haven't already done it. So very encouraging stuff for them. Now I'm in, the middle of the summer here in my nuclear winter of this stock, and all of a sudden, on Wednesday or Thursday last week, we get an 82% jump from the score. And that's because Penn National Gaming has made a $2 billion bid to acquire the score, to use their platform in Canada. And I actually think as well there might be a plan to use it south of the border as well. Given the massive amount of downloads they get in the US as well, I think they may be looking to integrate right in with the app seamlessly to do everything in a digital format.
If they've got the technology, the back end already done, the app looks cool, it's easy to use, the US market's already using it, why not? I mean, they buy it. I think Penn National is a $10 billion company. They buy for $2 billion. And they don't, like, how many states do they have? They've got like 6 or 7. Like, they don't have all 50.
They've got 6 right now. No,
6,
I think, and there's another probably 6 that are getting close, talking about it. California being one of them, which is, California alone, that's a bigger market than Canada is.
Oh yeah, it's the 7th. I think it's still the 7th or 8th largest economy in the world. So you get California in on board. That's a huge win on its own.
Yeah. I think if you did the math on it, it'd be interesting to see what they have right now for market-wise, how many millions of people. But you add in Canada with 36-ish, add in California with another 55. That is potential for insane growth if they can tether this all together. So now that I've teed up the story, everyone's aware of where we're at, where we stand. What I thought would be the fun exercise of today is, Andrew, help me. What the hell do I do now?
Yeah. Well, I can't obviously tell you what to do, and I would never tell anyone to buy or sell anything. I know for me, it's how much do you love this sector? So to me, I go, listen, the safe bet for a win like that, it's a huge win, is you're going to take some money off the table because you enjoy the massive win. The rest of it is a free ride. If you took half the money off the table, and we could sit down and work out the numbers, but that would be a massive win with half your position still riding on Penn moving forward. And that's just bonus. Like, even if you sold off half the position right now, that win, and you lost every penny on Penn moving forward. You got 0 for it. That's such a big win still that you've then freed up some capital to look at something else. Now, that's also, the good and the bad is that if you sell a good position that could still have more growth, is you have to go find a new one that's going to have that kind of growth story. Now, luckily, we've got loads of ones that have great growth potential and great growth stories. is that for me, I kind of go, how much more can I squeeze out of this thing? Like if you've made it 10 times your money, basically, which you've basically done, how much more do I want out of it? Penn has a lot. It has a huge growth. I mean, that stock has pulled back a lot. It's hit a high of 163, and it's sitting at, I want to say 60 today. 68,
I think. Yeah.
68. It's down 2%, down $1.64 off the deal. They do $3 billion in revenue, just so people have a bit of an idea. And I mean, gaming is they always joke, like, if you want to own a business, you own a casino, it's just money printing. It's sheer math. It's statistical probability. The house always wins. It's a great business to be in. I don't know the online betting and gaming as well, but I would assume it's quite similar. It's cash. So your cash management is your biggest risk. Where are they applying their cash? Where are their investments? If they're sitting in crypto, if they're sitting in this and sitting that, whatever. But great area to be in. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Do I think somewhere like California is going to legalize? Yeah, I would think so.
You would have to assume, right?
Yeah. I mean, if somewhere more conservative like Canada is willing to do it, California, which is struggling, could use their tax revenue, to be perfectly honest, as well. So if they legalize it and make it that you have to declare winnings and that's another revenue stream for them. And they certainly like taxing. So I could see it happening. They're probably not going to do anything unless it was a big enough story. Newsom is in so much trouble there, and will they try to push something beforehand as an olive branch to get people excited? Who knows? I don't know if it's that big a pull, but the big question then is, do you love Penn National? And do you love it at this price? And at 3.1 billion revenue at a $10 billion company, that's pretty slick. That's pretty good.
On the surface, it's a very good deal for where it's at right now, which is the kind of exciting thing. And that's where you get caught up, right? Because it is in the situation I'm in. Like you said, you've got a great win here. It's been an awesome ride. I mean, granted, the last couple of months may have aged me a couple years, but it's been a fun ride with this because it's been such an exciting story, and there's still that potential left. So I'm hesitant to say I want to take everything off the table. Do I want to take some winnings with this? Absolutely, because there's tons of other exciting stuff. I mean, we talk about so many exciting opportunities every day that I'd love to, hey, got it, some extra money, I'd love to throw it into this deal. But with that said, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if this story itself is ready for me to fully be gone from it either, because there might be a little bit left.
It's hard to break up with a stock when it's hard to sell the winner sometimes. But listen, it's a $2 billion deal that they etched. The stock is at $2 billion market cap. It's going to stay there until they finish the deal, they close it, and that's first quarter 2022, right? Something like that. Yeah, I think it's first quarter. Sure. So will the stock move? I don't think so. It's probably going to stick around this level for a while, but any weird things can happen. But I mean, it's a $2 billion deal. It's $2 billion market cap today. The stock rose up in a hurry the last 6 days when they announced it to be at parity at what it should be. So yeah, I mean, it's a great case study. It's a huge win. I mean, it's a great one, and it shows where you've got something with a lot of free cash flow, which is always attractive. In a sector, I mean, people gamble. They're not going to stop. Exactly. It's just one of those things that will have a fairly good constant growth projection and curve, unless you see massive government intervention in the meantime. But you're not seeing that. You're seeing the exact opposite. So, and it seems that when you have tougher states allowing it to go through, it's more than likely a lot of other ones are going to come along, because let's be perfectly frank, they've known for decades someone just goes offshore and they go, great, I'll do an offshore online betting, and then they don't get to report it. It's hard for them to track it down. You've got then the fintech rules, you've got FINRA, you've got all this trade, tracking of capital. Like, wait, why is this capital going off to Bermuda? For them, I think it's going to be an integration of everything moving forward. When we see crypto being and blockchain being implemented, they don't want those pieces being left out in the ether unaccounted for. So this would be a way to legitimize gaming, take it out of, put it into corporate hands rather than other hands. Also would really negate a lot of what they call ghost banking, a lot of money laundering as well, which that keeps some provinces going very well. But I'm not making any accusations. I'm just in theory.
Yeah, we're just saying there is.
But it can actually add a lot of regulation and capital control, which governments would want to see as well. So yeah, it's a really good example of looking at external factors, looking at a good solid business with a good business plan with big growth in a sector that is scalable, and then looking at public policy to go, I think there's a play here. And good timing. So yeah, what a win. That was great.
Yeah, it was really exciting, and you made an interesting point there. I do think we're going to see a bigger push from governments, and we saw the same thing with the cannabis industry, as well as the idea of why live in the current system when we can legalize, regulate, and tax.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to start being applied to anything and everything that it can be applied to. Because it doesn't take a lot to realize that governments right now are in massive debt situations that they need to try to find some way to pull themselves out of, or just keep printing more money. We'll see what happens. But that's going to be a very, very clear-cut plan of, hey, how can we get some hands on some revenue here without without increasing our tax bracket 50% just yet.
No, yes. And for nothing else other than they're going to want to, while they're working on their proposals moving forward as to how they're going to reconcile everything and make this huge shift in the financial markets and the fiat system, how they're going to approach this with digital coins, and if what they're going to use, they're going to want to account for everything. And if there's a loophole of being able to go offshore and do things over here, that doesn't work. So very interesting, a very interesting conversation. Really good move. Seeing that announcement from Penn National. We wanted to come on, talk about some of the sectors that you're passionate about and you really enjoy and like, and also recognize the big win that was.
Yeah, it was a really exciting one. If it's something people are interested in, feel free to reach out to us in the comments or send me an email directly. And maybe it's something I'd even do a report on or a breakdown more in depth at some point if it's something that interests people. But we love the engagement, so feel free to reach out and let us know if that's something you're interested in. Let me know if anyone else was involved in this little run with the score, because it's, like I said, it's been fun. It's been a good one. But it's great. I appreciate you taking the time to chat back and forth with me, Andrew, about it and kind of work through my thought process here. But great win and a really fun story.
Yes, and it comes back to that model. Is that what was the goal on this one? A lot of people will say, if I can make 20% on a stock, I'd be happy. Well, then you've got to stick to your guns. Go and say at a penny stock, you can make 20% in a few days, in a week. Pull the trigger. You're out. Don't change your mind. Just unless there's a significant news or something that goes, oh, well, I should stay in this. But you got to stick to a model. That's what we kind of hammer home to people, is that you got to stick to a model. And people that do, they are a lot more successful than those that just change their model midway through. They change their mind. You don't want to be a whim to the push and the pull of the market that way. So that's the thing to kind of harness, and then look at to say, what would I be happy with if I sold a quarter of the position out, half the position, 75% of the position? What would that look like financially? What would be my gain? And then you let the rest of it run. And you go, that frees up capital. I could look at some of these other high growth ones. But see, this is all part of the model that what someone would have and the planning that they have. But yes, we want you to reach out. If anyone else has a fun experience with that one or any other ones, send us a note in the comment section, or send it out to Austin at Supercharged Stocks. And of course, we're sitting on a bunch of ones that we love that are coming out, that are pre-IPO, that are interesting ones. Feel free to reach out to us about that as well, directly at Austin or Andrew at Supercharged Stocks. We love chatting with you. We're glad to be back. It's August. It's slow, but like we've been saying, September is going to be ramping up really quick. Yeah. So everyone, enjoy some of the rest of the summer. Enjoy, hopefully, the nice weather. And we're getting charged up here for what's coming.
We definitely are. And like we say all the time, we want everyone to join in the charge. It's going to be a really exciting time. So thanks, Andrew, and we'll chat to you on Friday.
Excellent. Take care. Bye, everyone.